If you feel like you don't trust your thoughts, your decisions, or your judgments anymore after a breakup, this video will help you to understand the why. And once you start to see what actually broke that trust, a lot of that self-blame that you've been carrying will start to loosen. To understand why this feels so unsettling, we have to start with what self-trust is, because most people confuse it with confidence. So you may be asking, well, what the heck is self-trust? Self-trust is the internal sense that you can rely on yourself, your perceptions, your feelings, and your ability to make decisions. Confidence is something that you can outwardly fake. Self-trust is quieter. It's what lets you say, I can handle this, even if it feels uncomfortable. When self-trust breaks, you just don't question the ending of the relationship. You start to question yourself. You replay conversations. You wonder if you imagined problems. You hesitate over decisions that you could make easily before. Understanding the differences between confidence and self-trust helps lift some of that confusion and helps you to reframe that thought of, I'm broken, there's something wrong with me. If this resonates, just know that there's nothing wrong with you. This is a very normal response. What we forget is, in relationships, there's two people making decisions, not just you. And if those decisions are contradictory, or maybe you had different values, that can start to shake our internal sense of safety. So this raises an important question. Why did the relationship impact your self-trust so deeply? Here's the kicker. You didn't lose self-trust after the breakup. You lost it while trying to stay in the relationship. In relationships where you slowly lost yourself, you likely adapted in small ways. You minimized your needs, you talked yourself out of discomfort, and you ignored those internal warning signs to keep the connection. Over time, your nervous system learned that your inner voice wasn't safe to follow. So those times when you thought you were compromising, you stopped listening to your internal voice and stopped honoring your needs for the sake of your relationship, your self-trust began to erode. And depending on how long you were in that type of relationship for, it could have eroded quite a bit, a little bit, or somewhere in between. But it's important to remember that in many cases, you did what you had to do to survive within the relationship. This doesn't mean that your self-trust is broken. It just means that it's been interrupted. And we can repair this. Before we go any further, I wanted to introduce myself. My name is Cassandra Mullick. I am a registered therapist, a wellness coach, and a certified narcissistic abuse clinician. If this is our first time meeting, this channel is all about healing after breakup. And if you're looking for additional resources, I've started a free school community called Healing Me After We. Feel free to check out the link in the description. Okay, let's move forward. So far, we've established that self-trust differs from confidence, and our self-trust eroded because we were no longer listening to ourselves in order to protect the relationship and keep the connection. So what happens? Well, what happens is an inner conflict is born out of this. One part of you knows that something wasn't right in that relationship, and the other part of you is wondering if you were the problem. The back and forth between these two parts keeps you searching for certainty. When you understand this, you stop trying to think your way out of the pain and start to recognize what your nervous system is actually doing, which is trying to restore safety. You're not stuck because you're incapable or you're damaged. You're stuck because your inner compass doesn't feel reliable yet. This is why advice like just be more positive or just forget that person often falls flat, because reassurance alone doesn't build internal safety. So if self-trust isn't built through mantras or affirmations or rushing closure, what do? How do we rebuild it? It's actually rebuilt through experiences, especially those moments where you don't self-abandon. Each time you listen to yourself, you honor a boundary or sit with a feeling instead of overriding it, you slowly rebuild internal safety. You don't have to fix everything today. It's really about the small steps you take every day that are going to compound and lead you to rebuild your self-trust. And this is where a lot of people get discouraged because they feel like they need to have the confidence and motivation first before doing this work. But here's the thing. If you're waiting for confidence to miraculously come out of nowhere without trusting yourself first, you're going to continue to stay stuck. Confidence is the result of self-trust, not the requirement of it. When you understand this, it's going to take the pressure off. First, we start with those small steps to rebuild our self-trust, and then confidence will follow. If this video has helped you to understand yourself a little bit more, you're already rebuilding self-trust. And if you'd like to learn more strategies on how to rebuild, check out this playlist up here.